Good morning, radio listeners, and everyone there listening to the sound of my voice, whether it's on social media or the airwaves. Pleasant good morning to you. I am Inspector Shauna Francis Edwards, and this morning I'm bringing to you today's edition of Policing with You. Unfortunately, I do not have a guest this morning, as that person was called out in an emergency. So I will not be having a guest this morning. But I promise you next time when I'm here, I will have that guest come on. It's someone from the Maritime Division. So we know how it is sometimes in this line of work. Sometimes at last minute notice, things happen and decisions have to be made. Nonetheless, I am going to recap the activities of the weekend just gone, the Easter weekend. We know that there are a lot of activities from the police end to more or less pay attention to. And I want to recap some of those activities, starting with the Good Friday events. We had places like Keon, had Good Friday kite flying. We had Tabernacle, and police was there. Those activities were incident-free, and we thank God for that. We continued on the Saturday with events at Stapleton, Monkey Hill. We also had in Keon. We had in Frigate Bay, all over the countryside. We had activities, and those were also incident-free. And we are happy that patrons, the communities, that they're all paying attention to the safety and security of these events and to govern themselves accordingly. This morning, I also tried to get one from Traffic Department, because I know that traffic, it's a big issue in St. Kitts and Nevis. And with all those activities that took place, I know that Traffic Department did have an operation with a vehicular road traffic stop. And I know the traveling public, I know some people got disgusted. Oh, today's holiday, why they out on the road? And the reason for being on the road is because we know that people take advantage of the roads. They speed, they do all manner of things that are not permitted while you're driving. And so they were there to ensure that the road users, those who do not break the law, and those who do break the law, that things were kept in check. And that's one of the reasons why they were there on the road. They do their job, and you do your job, and everybody should be happy. I want to open the line if there's anyone who has anything that they would like to speak about with reference to being safe in your homes or while driving. I do have some tips here. So if you're interested in taking part in the show, you can call in and I will try to address your questions the best way that I can.
Well, let me just jump in there real quick for your audience. And I sent you via WhatsApp so you can have it for your reference in the near future. 465-1977, 465-1903, and 662-8674. Those are the numbers you can use, any one of them, to get into the program this morning to interact with Inspector in the studio.
Thank you very much, GQ, for those numbers. I wasn't familiar with that first one, 465-1977. That's new to me. But thank you very much for giving us those numbers so that persons could call in and be a part of the discussion. I know one of the burning issues on people's mind is the fact that the fee. Good morning, caller.
Put on your headphones, please.
Yes.
And hold on a second before you go live, caller. For those of you holding, can you hear?
Yes.
Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, GQ, good morning.
Morning.
And good morning to the host.
Yes, please.
I want to ask a question, Inspector. We poor people want to know the reason why Mrs. Marshall left the force. That is a bluff. The moral, the ladies who been raped all of a sudden since we get these free movements of people, these lot of rapers coming from these bigger islands. We have problem going forward. And that is burning. Last night we talking that in the court of conscience for at least almost 4 hours. Where people was recognizing what that lady was bringing to the forensic part of the force. And it's a problem. It's a serious problem. We ain't got no Hanley. Hanley no went nowhere. She folded that more than Hanley because she went in a class. Hanley was using the text and the wisdom and the people of this country. You ain't got that now. The people ain't coming forward. How are you could let she get away like that? Somebody who look at this young man who was there with her who had to go Tatolo. All because of whatlessness and bad-mindedness. That young man got to leave the force. Now he's leaving the office down in Tatolo and doing so well. Acquisition. Have a good morning. GQ. Stay safe.
All right, my brother. You too.
Yam dog. He looks up.
Good morning, caller, and thank you for your question. But that is not a question that I can answer for you. You might have to meet the lady and ask her. I can't answer that for you. I'm sorry. Right. Yes, as I was saying, I know that one of the burning questions on people's mind is that revision of the Traffic Act, which is specific to seat belts and car seats. I know that that is a burning issue, and if you want to call in and share your view or your experience, you can. But the law is straight. It is saying that it's a ticketable offense, and it is $500 for the ticket if the child is not restrained or if the child is not in a car seat. Some people will ask, well, what about the buses? People travel on buses with children in the lap and all that, and seatbelts are not available. That is public transport, and that is in a different category to private-owned vehicles. Okay? The age group for children who are supposed to be restrained by seatbelt is age 5 up to 14. Up to 14. I think there's a weight in there, 40, either 40 or 50 pounds to restrain by a seatbelt. Any age below that has to be in a car seat. So you have to make sure that you have the appropriate articles to restrain your children while you are traveling in your vehicle. It only takes one foolish move on the road, or it only takes one careless move by a driver, and life is cut off. Life is too precious. We have to make sure that our children and even adults, that they are safe on the road. Right. There are some traffic safety tips that I would like to go through with you. There are many, but I believe I can get through them quickly. Right, we have visibility on the road. Visibility is key in preventing road accidents, especially if you're operating large commercial vehicles like trucks and those tractor trailers. They have a lot of blind spots that smaller vehicles don't have. And it is important to familiarize yourself as a driver of these vehicles with the blind spots, and not only for your vehicle, but you have to also consider the other vehicles and persons who are using the road at that time. Use turn signals. While you can't depend on others always signaling their intentions, you, on the other hand, can certainly control what you do and do have a realistic expectation for yourself and not for others. Always use your turn signals in advance of making a lane change or turning. I know these days everybody drive under the AC. Oh, the place is hot. I need to be under my AC. We have to remember that when we started to learn to drive, our hands used to be extended outside of the vehicle to let other road users know that you are slowing down, you are turning right, you are turning left, or you are stopping. And those hand signals have not changed, so we need to use them a little more often. Buckle up. Wearing your seatbelt is an essential safety tip for drivers. Not only you are more likely to get injured in an accident if you aren't wearing a seatbelt, you can also be fined for failing to do so. Yes, not wearing seatbelt while driving, it's a ticketable offense, and that goes for the passenger as well, the front passenger, and the back passenger, if the back passenger is a child under the age of 14 years old. Respect the yellow lights. Respect the yellow lights. Remember that the intent of a yellow light is to notify the driver to slow down and prepare to stop. It is not a sign that tells you that you must speed up. Because while that light changed yellow to give you a warning, on the other end it's going to change to green, which tells the other side of the traffic that they are free to move. And why would you want to speed up? You are to slow down and take heed. A yellow traffic signal should not be seen as a sign to step on your gas or to rush through an intersection before it turns red. As I said, that is dangerous. Come to a complete stop. When you see a stop sign or a red light, it's important to bring your vehicle to a complete stop. Even if you think no other vehicles are coming, sometimes vehicles appear out of the blue. You don't know where they come from. Do not be caught in that situation. Your life depends on it. We will take a break here and we will come back and I will share some more tips with you along with some home safety tips as well.
From the 869 area, penetration your radio. It is ZIZ. Get ready to ignite your mornings with Fire Talk. Tune in every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM for 15 minutes of blazing hot conversations featuring Robert Williams and Timothy Martin. They'll be discussing the latest fire updates, trends, and topics that matter to you. Don't miss out on the heat. Fire Talk every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM.
gentlemen, you hear the song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
But Jeff, you leaving already, boss? You sure you could drive after them drinks?
Yeah, I could handle it, Ain't too far from here. I'm gonna take my time.
Oh my God! Jeff, you're gone! I told you not to drink and drive!
The problem with drinking and driving is the morning after. Drink responsibly.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Nevis National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention in collaboration with SKNIS.
And welcome back to Policing with You. I am your host, Inspector Shauna Francis Edwards. Just before the break, I was giving some safety traffic tips, and that will be followed by some good morning caller. We lost that one. Right, and later I will be also sharing some home safety tips with you. Obey the speed limits. Obey the speed limits. We do not have any fast track here in St. Kitts. We do not have any race track here in St. Kitts. Our speed limits are 20 miles per hour for built-up areas and Bastia, and 40 miles an hour for areas that are not considered built-up areas. It's a reason why these speed limits are in place. It's for your safety, and it's for the safety of other road users and pedestrians as well. Because we have had lots of accidents involving pedestrians getting knocked down, and we don't want that to continue. So obey the speed limits. When driving, it is important to stick to the posted speed limit at all times. The restrictions placed on the vehicle speed are not established arbitrarily. Rather, they are carefully selected to maximize safety for drivers and for individuals in their homes, businesses, and other organizations in areas where roadways are located. And remember that speeding is an offense. It's a ticketable offense. And that is what the traffic department was doing recently there. I think it was on Monday, enforcing the speed limit and also the seatbelt and other ticketing offenses. A speed, if you're going 10 miles over the speed limit, you can get a ticket for that. So if it's a 20 mile per hour zone and you are driving at 30, you can get a ticket for that. The minimum fee for the ticket is $250. I know that money hard to get. It's not so flourishing. So don't put yourself or subject yourself to being ticketed for speeding. The penalties are high. Every 10 miles after that, $100 goes on top of that. So you can do the maths from there. Exercise patience. Exercise patience. Many accidents are caused by impatient drivers who are rushing to get from point A to point B. While time is certainly a valid consideration when traveling, safety is even more important. After all, if you are involved in an accident, you'll certainly experience more challenge arriving at your destination on time than if you simply exhibit patience while you are driving. Avoid distractions. Avoid distractions. We know that people like to send messages while they are driving and doing numerous things while they are behind the wheel. Avoid those tasks while you are operating the vehicle. It's easy for you to just pull over, make the call, send a message, change your city, etc., than driving. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Okay, give me a minute to turn on the radio, please. Okay, good morning, Officer Francis.
Yes, please. Good morning.
And GQ, good morning again.
Good morning.
Okay, Officer, there's something that I think you and everyone should hear. A week and a half ago, around 5:30, between sleep and wake, I could hear some loud noise. I thought it was on the upper right of my hand. And we are leaving, so I said, my neighbor and Shimon got it out earlier. But then, when I think was my neighbor on my right side, the noise get louder and louder. So then, I was wondering if it's the couple on my left. Or people always say, they didn't hold it too. So when I hear, bam bam on my door now, my heart start to beat. I said, well, who in my yard? The same time current went out, which I didn't realize. I grabbed my phone to go check on my extra eye that I have. Next thing now, I check on the cable box. I say, oh gosh, current gone. Not there. When I peeped to the clock, I say, police in my yard. I say, police in my yard. Oh, police are in my yard. Bam, 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 open up police. Well, me ain't pay them no attention because me the police, not me only for the police. Why police been in my yard so early? Anyhow, I peep through a window, I see a female officer and a soldier looking on the machine counter. I don't know what I was looking for. And then a few was to the back of the yard. Long after, my son come up. First I said, but I thought I tell them lock the gate and I tell them how they get in my yard. And the gate lock. Then my son come and say, Karen, I thought, what? I'm speaking. I'll come to you when I finish. Okay, so about that. He come and he said, Karen, so I want to know, well, the policeman. I said, who that? I said, who that? And he called his name. He said, we got company. And the arm, so I didn't go say, well, I am too, you know. But anyway, I went outside. The police officer said, I don't remember if they said good morning, nothing to her. He said, he's looking for guns, drugs, and ammunition. I said, officer, the only gun in here is my mouth, and the bullet them is the word what in my mouth. And the drugs I have in here is the food what I just cook. Do I look like somebody does use guns, drugs, and ammunition to you? But give me a fake smile. I said, well, last night I reached home so tired. And I come home to go pack up my stuff and clean up my house, which I didn't get to do. And I said, good night, because I would have come and ramp up my house. I said, do you have a warrant? He said, yes. So I give him the will. So he just wanted to look around and blah, 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 which he did. He looked around. He didn't touch anything. So he wanted to say in his storeroom. Well, I came down there, so there's my dryer. That is my washer. And use it to feed where I keep my stuff in local drinks. And my maid took to me cooking. Okay. After that, I said, I see a soldier earlier, and then I see another one. So I said, oh, I'm not two soldiers, I see. When I called, there was 10 officers. Because I tell them, listen, so try to come and help me clean up then, because I had some dishes to pack up, some groceries to put away, and some clothes to fall up, and my floor to mop. Anyway, when after that now before that I said I'm going to put her on the radio, I'm going to call the radio station. I tried calling the week when it happened. I didn't get through. I was going to call on police in with you last week, but you all had a different program. I was listening to it. But anyhow, nobody calling, so I said, okay, I'm going to interrupt. So when I called the radio announcer Sunday on his show, he said to call this program. I said, well, I'm going to call them. And I hope they listen good because I want everybody to hear me. One, the police officer jumped over the fence. And the other one was breaking down my gate. He want to break down my $4,000 gate, what I paid for. When I ordered that gate, the gentleman asked me for need a spike on it. I told him, no, I should have put on the spike. God forbid. But anyhow, my son-in-law said he just rushed in the house. Miss, wake up. My daughter in the near kid. He didn't have no call to rush in the bedroom like that, Miss open up. The fact remains he opened the gate and he opened the door for him to come and search. He didn't have no was because they want to want that for their sisters, their mothers, their wife, no family members of them. Because I know an officer and a soldier, two of them was body pal, and every time they're going to search your house, the officer called the soldier to tell him police going to come and search your house. He ain't had no call to rush in on my daughter's privacy like that. That is police disrespecting you. And he was very disrespectful, whichever one it was. And I don't like it if they break off my gate. I would have sued the police officer, I would have sued the government. One of them was trying to open my door with a machete. If he did damage my door, I would have sued him and I would have sued the government. So you would have suing going on and me here who would attack when I done. They must learn to respect people when they're going to, and their privacy, when they're going to search people place, they should. I think the government should put something like a lawyer or somebody else to go with them. You can't just broke down people go like that and talk about wake up. They want that to the family members and nobody. I was very upset over the party because even when I got tell them, when I tell my granddaughter about it, she said, I want to talk to Chico when you go. So what you going to tell Chico? Just what I said earlier is what she said she would tell Chico. He was in my bedroom and said, hey, miss, wake up. I said, for church? She said, yes. I said, okay. All right, officer. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
As
You're
well
welcome.
For
All
sharing
right.
your experience. Right, as I was saying earlier with our tips, you exercise patience. And I was saying, after all, if you're involved in a traffic accident, you certainly will have to wait longer than is necessary. Avoid distractions. Talk about sending text messages and answering calls, changing cities and all of that. Avoid those distractions. It's easier to pull over and do those things than to continue driving. And while you're doing all of that, you'll get into an accident. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Speeding is one of the most common causes of fatal collisions. Slowing down could save a life, yours, a loved one, some other person. You also save gas. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Inspector.
Could you adjust your radio, please? I'm getting a feedback.
No problem. All right, can you hear me now? Better?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Can you explain to the general public the difference between traveling in public transportation and traveling at private public transportation when it comes to children traveling on a road? It's all of our safety, you know.
We seem to have lost that caller, but you're welcome to call back. And of course, you know the number. And for those of you listening and would like to get in on the conversation, 465-1977, 465-1903, and 662-8674. Inspector, back over to you. Oh, and when you get a chance, check your WhatsApp. Some of our listeners forward in some messages for you to respond to as well.
Okay. I was just catching up with the WhatsApp messages that you forwarded. With reference to those messages, GQ, if the persons are listening, if you think that the speed limit needs to be adjusted, then apparently you can get an audience with the traffic commissioner and see how you can speak to and get other persons to agree and all that. It's more or less a petition, but you have to take into consideration that there are lots of vehicles on the road. If you realize we are on the top side of PB, so which means just now we'll be going into PC. And between there you have at least close to 60,000 vehicles. And we're not even talking about the G vehicles, the government vehicles and the guided tours and all those. Close to 60,000 vehicles on the road, if you want to put it that way. And we don't have 60,000.
Now, let's you stay close in front of the
mic.
mic.
Yes.
Yeah. We're hearing you, then we're not hearing you.
Okay. And we don't have 60,000 people in St. Kitts. So you have to recognize that there are a lot of vehicles on the road. The roads are not getting bigger. So therefore, we should be even more be considerate now than we were 10, 12 years ago. Because we don't have space. So if we don't have space, how would you want to increase the speed limit? Where are you going to be flying to? You know? You have to be considerate with that one. We know that people don't drive the 20 miles and whatever, but you should still adhere to the 20 miles in built-up areas and in residential areas. It's for the safety of you and children and pedestrians who will be using those roads. And the reason why those signs are in residential areas, because you expect people to be on the road. You expect children to be playing on the road as well. So you have to be careful in those areas.
Before you address the other question that was just sent to you, the lady called in about on the phone a while ago.
Yes. For the private vehicles, the private vehicles are set up in a way that you can have, that seat belts are in place for all of the seats in the vehicle. Therefore, when you are in your private vehicle, all the passengers in your private vehicle must be covered. The insurance covers that, unless you have a third party, where you will be responsible. Similarly, the buses, the modern ones, some of them come with seat belts. But there are less seat belts in the buses to cover the number of passengers that that the bus can carry. Yes, if you carry you take the public transport and you're taking your child to Brother Bastia or on the bus with you, the child can sit in the seat, or if it's a small child, the child can be in your lap. The insurance for public transport is way, way, way different in terms of quantum. It's a lot of money for public transport to be carrying passengers. So the insurance covers that aspect. And that could be one of the major differences between the private vehicle and the public transport. And then we have another question. Carrying up the speed limit from 40 to 60. Like I say, we don't have enough roads for that. We have a lot of vehicles. As is, people try to do 70 and 80 miles per hour in a 40 mile per hour zone. When you carry that up, that means you're telling people, okay, go meet your maker. Because they're not going to be doing the 60 miles, they'll be doing 90 and 100. And that is considered dangerous. We still have to take into consideration the condition of the roads. And that sometimes determines how you drive on the road as well. Not all the roads are smooth. Some have potholes, some have ditches. And you still have to be careful when you're driving because they can throw you off and you end up in an accident. Okay? Right. So I'm just going to leave one or two home and safety tips with you. Never let a child go into a restroom alone in a public place. Always stay with your children in a public area. Teach your children about bullying and cyberbullying. Let them know that this is wrong and how to report it to a parent or a teacher if and when they see it happening. For your home, use physical protection measures on a home by installing deadbolts on all the doors, locking devices on windows and solid glass doors, and fence your yard. Sometimes that is one of the easiest way of keeping out intruders. Fence your yard. Trim the trees surrounding your house so that burglars do not have an easy access to the roof or a place to hide. That is very important. In the neighborhood, you can set up a neighborhood watch or a community patrol with the police and also with your neighbors. Mentor young people who need positive support from adults through programs like Big Brother and Big Sisters. I know that we do have the National Intervention Team who have different activities and little programs that they're running, like the football and all those. So you can be a part of that or get your children involved in something like that. I just want to leave some statistics with you before I go. Some statistics with reference to the number of traffic accidents that we would have had so far from January up to the 31st of March. And I believe that the persons who are talking about speed limit and all of that, they will recognize that we don't need the speed limit to be changed right now, considering what is happening on the streets or on the roads. Okay, I will take it for in the per police station. So I will start with Bastia. Bastia for the month of January had 75 traffic accidents, 61 in February, And in March, they had 53. It seems as though it was going down, or it's on a downward trend. Let's hope that by the end of this month, it should be way less than that. It means then people are listening. A total of 189 accidents for Bastia. Keyon in total had 28. 9 in January, 12 in February, and 7 in March. Tabernacle has 5. 1 in January and 4 in March. Dieppe has 14. 3 in January, 2 in February, and 9 in March. Sandy Point has 20. 4 in January, 11 in February, and 5 in March. Old Road, 33. 12 in January, 12 in February, and 9 in March. Frigate Bay had 34. 12 in January, 7 in February, and 15 in March. And Stapleton, which is Monkey Hill area, had 18. 7 in January, 5 in February, and 6 in March. We had almost 300 accidents island-wide. And this is only St. Kitts. I have not included Nevis. 300 accidents island-wide for the first 3 months of the year. That does not speak well. It means our drivers are not taking heed. They are not paying attention to the traffic laws. And some of them, they are just doing what they want. We cannot continue to operate this way. You have a great responsibility to yourself, to the traveling public, and to the country. You have to take that responsibility seriously. Okay? Right. In wrapping up, traffic on the road is plenty. We have so many vehicles, and vehicles are still coming into the Federation. We have persons who do a traffic written test and a driver's test. And when you get your license, this is the time that you start practicing to drive. The license doesn't give you the right to speed and to disregard everything that you would have learned prior to getting your license. You have great responsibility, and you should live up to that responsibility. Be safe on the road when you are driving. Remember, do not multitask. Sometimes it's a little split second that you take your eye off the road is when you impact on something or someone. Drive responsibly, and do not drive under the influence of drink or drug. Keeping your home safe is also your responsibility, and your children as well. Ensure that you follow these safety tips, and you and your family surely will enjoy safety in your homes and your vehicles while you're on the road. Thank you for listening.
What you think about yours?